Goeiemôre graaddiens en welkom by nog 'n les. Ek is bly julle is almal hier so vandag, elke een van julle. En vandag gaan ek met julle 'n bietjie bespreek die strokiesprent in 'n vraestel. 'n Strokiesprent is in afdeling C in die taaldeel en dit is vraag 4. Nou ek sal vir julle die notas later vandag deurgee, dis ook op Google Classroom, maar ek wil eers gou dit met julle bespreek. Goed, kyk saam met my op die shade screen. Reg. Tipiese goeders wat ons kry in strokiesprente. Die goeders wat belangrik is. Eerstens moet ons weet, ons meestal in die eksamen kry ons vir Neelsie en Meester, hier's Neelsie en Meester. Ek sal nou vir julle weer wys. Neelsie is die kind, hy's die leerder, en Meester is die onderwyser. Meester is 'n baie ou woord wat gebruik is vir 'n onderwyser baie jare gelede. Many years ago, they used to speak of Meester as a male teacher. Okay, die eerste ding wat ons moet weet, daar's 'n verskil tussen 'n denkborrel en 'n spraakborrel. 'n Spraakborrel is iets wat iemand sê, dis iets wat een van die karakters in die strokiesprent sê. En 'n denkborrel, dit is iets wat hulle dink. Dis iets wat die karakter dink, hy sê dit nie. Die ander karakter weet dit nie, net die een karakter weet dit. En dan in 'n strokiesprent kry ons rampies. 'n Rampie is the frame. Rampie 1, rampie 2, rampie 3, and they're always numbered. So that you know, when they say, verwys na rampie 1, it means refer to frame 1. Then you should answer something or look for an answer in frame 1. I'm sorry for the picture quality. Alright, dan iets wat jy moet ook wat baie belangrik is wat jy moet weet, is dat Neelsie hou nie van skoolwerk nie, hy hou nie van huiswerk nie, hy hou nie van skool nie. Okay, en hy presteer glad nie goed op skool nie. Presteer means he does not excel academically, he does not do very well in school. Hierso is 'n voorbeeld, hy kry nie goeie punte vir Afrikaans nie, maar iets wat ons ook baie sien in die strokiesprent is dat Neelsie is nie baie goed met wiskunde nie. So hy sukkel baie met wiskunde, so very often in the test there will be some sort of comic strip about Neelsie not doing homework or he did bad in the test, Afrikaans or math, so that's typically what it's about, and there's some sort of conflict between Neelsie and Meester, who is the teacher. There's always some sort of conflict, or the teacher is upset about something that Neelsie have done, or not done, like his homework. Dan, hy's altyd kwaad, of hy's verbaas, he's surprised, or verstom, he's dumbstruck about something that Neelsie maybe have done, or that he has said something. Like here's an example of Meester being angry. You can see here he's screaming. I'm going to discuss with you now how should we answer this in a test. Typical exam questions they would ask something about liggaamshouding. Liggaamshouding is his body language. What is his body language telling us? Also, they can ask about karakter se houding, the characters their attitude. What is their attitude showing you? Gesigsuitdrukking, now this is very important. Gesig is your face, your gesigsuitdrukking, your facial expressions. There's a big difference when a teacher is asking you, explain of verduidelik, of hoe weet ons aan sy gesigsuitdrukking dat hy kwaad is? Of hoe weet ons aan sy liggaamshouding? Of wat is die verskil tussen die gesigsuitdrukking en die liggaamshouding? That's two different things. You have to comment about two different things. So you have to read your question very carefully. What are they asking you? Wat vra hulle vir jou? Vra hulle jou oor sy gesigsuitdrukking of sy liggaamshouding. Dis baie belangrik, daar's 'n verskil. Dan, dis belangrik om ook die ironie te kan verduidelik, the irony. So why something is funny, why is there a contrast between maybe what the character is saying and what he is doing. And sometimes we can also derive that from their facial expressions or their body language. Sometimes can also indicate to us why something is funny. Maybe the character is, his body language show he's very upset, but his words are very cheerful, or the other way around. And then the second last bullet here, which I've already said, vergelyk die liggaamshouding met die gesigsuitdrukking. Compare the body language to the facial expression. En dan laastens, ons vra baie taal. Ultimately, it's a language paper. So a few questions would be about the body language, facial expressions, about what can you derive from what is going on here in the comic strip. I'll talk about that more a bit later in the question section. So how do we know something? Waaruit kan ons aflei? So what do we see in the picture? That we derive, or we come to a conclusion. Waaruit lei ons af? That is important words, which I'll discuss a bit later on. In our taal, like I said, it's a language paper. So there's many things I can ask by language. I'm not just going to say, oh, it's going to be meervoud, it's going to be ontkenning. I can't say that. It can be any aspect of language that's being tested. You will get a practice test like this to do on Google Classroom. And then, this is something we ask very often. Hoe weet ons meester is kwaad? Die meneer is amper altyd kwaad. Hy is altyd kwaad vir iets wat Nielsie gesê of gedoen het. Dan kyk 'n bietjie na die prentjies. Look at the pictures. How can we see he's angry? Remember, in the test, it's going to be printed in black and white. So, you won't be able to see necessarily the color in his face that is red, but how else can we see he's angry? Sy wenkbroue wys na mekaar toe. Dit is wenkbroue. Eyebrows. It is like going towards each other. Or his eyes is closed. Sy oë is toe. En sy vuiste bal, the third bullet here. Sy vuiste bal, his fists. Look at his fists. That is another way indicating to us. But that is talking about his body language, sy liggaamshouding of sy liggaamstaal. So don't be confused. Read carefully what the teacher is asking you. Now, this question just stated, how do we know he's angry? But I could have also very specifically asked you about his body language or his facial expression, sy gesigsuitdrukking. Lees mooi. Then it also looks like he's screaming in the picture. That is how we can maybe also know that he's very angry. It looks like he's screaming. En dan ook, daar kom spoeg by sy mond uit, spoeg hy spit. Look at this picture. It looks like there's coming spit out of his mouth, maybe. Or it can indicate to us it's very loud. Hy skree miskien bietjie hard. So as ek vra, hoe weet ons meneer skree? Dan kan jy sê sy mond is groot oop. Daar kom spoeg by sy mond uit. Daai streepies, dit lyk of hy hard skree. Then another indication to us that maybe he's angry, his shoulders is to the front. This is not a very common one. I would leave that for last. The most common one is always, looks like somebody's screaming, or his hair is standing straight up on his head. That's the second last one. Sy hare staan regop, his hair is standing up straight. En dan sy snor beweeg. In some comic strips, I don't have a picture of it here, but I'll try and find one for Google Classroom. His snor, his mustache, it looks like it's moving. There's some pictures like that as well. So this is very typical things that you will say in the answer section. Sorry, let me just rephrase that. This is very typical answers that you would give for question 4 for Strokiesprente, why he is angry. There's many other questions as well, which I'm going to discuss with you now. Goed. And this is typically how a test look. I did not include the language questions, since this discussion is only about the actual comic strip, die Strokiesprente. Afdeling C, vraag 4, Strokiesprente. En hier is 'n Strokiesprente. Ek lees saam met jou. Rampie 1. Nielsie, het jy en Willempie so waar die toffies geëet wat hier op my tafel gelê het? Nielsie, that you and Willempie, which is his friend, we see it in frame 3 here, did you really eat the toffees that was on my table? And look there, it's a question mark and 2 exclamation marks. This already tells me he doesn't really want to answer. He already knows it. It's a rhetorical question. Rampie 2. Kyk, hier's meneer kwaad. Hier's hy 'n bietjie kwaad, maar hier is hy baie kwaad. Hy smoor kwaad. Kyk, daar's sy das ook. Die graad 8 het daai pak toffies vir my gegee. The grade 8 gave me that pack of toffies. Frame 3. Meester het darm swak maniere. Hy sê nie eers dankie dat ons vir hom 2 toffies gelos het nie. He's saying, oh, the teacher have very poor manners. He don't even say thank you that we left 2 toffees for him. So he doesn't have respect for the teacher at all. Alright. Verwys na rampie 2, refer to this frame. Hoe weet ons dat meester kwaad is? How do we know the teacher is angry? Ons kan sê, hy skree op Nielsie, sy mond is groot oop, sy oë is toe, sy wenkbraue is na mekaar toe, sy gesigsuitdrukking wys, hy is baie kwaad. Wat dink jy is Nielsie se houding teenoor meester? What do you think is Nielsie's attitude towards the teacher? First of all, I would say hier, hy het nie respek vir sy onderwyser nie. Hy het nie respek vir hom nie, want hy eet sy toffies. En hy gee ook nie om wat die onderwyser sê nie. He doesn't care about what the teacher is saying. It's a little talks about respect as well. And yeah, I forgot the second one I'm going to say. I'll come back to it right now. Dan dink jy Nielsie het goeie maniere? Do you think Nielsie has, this is Nielsie, is the student, and that's Willempie, his friend. Do you think that Nielsie have good manners? Motivate your answer. Nee, ek dink nie hy het goeie maniere nie. Hy het nie respek vir sy onderwyser nie. Hy vat sy goeders van sy tafel af. He takes the things that he teaches off his table. Verwys na rampie 1. Refer to frame 1. Frame 1. Kies die korrekte antwoord. Meester se vraag is retories of ironies. Dit is retories. He made a rhetorical question. This is another comic strip. Frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. Nielsie, jy's 'n klein niks werd. It means Nielsie, you mean nothing. You are worth nothing. Soos gewoonlik is jou huiswerk weer nie gedoen nie. Like usual, as usual, your homework is never done. Frame 3. Jy kan dankbaar wees, ek's in 'n goeie by. You can be thankful, I'm in a good mood. Now we can see here from the teacher's words and his body language here, he's obviously not in a good mood. 4.5. Wat dink jy van Nielsie se houding teenoor skoolwerk? What do you think is Nielsie's attitude towards schoolwork? Hy hou nie van skoolwerk nie, hy wil nie huiswerk doen nie, hy doen nooit sy huiswerk nie. How do I know that he never does it? It says, soos gewoonlik, as usual, per usual. Verwys na rampie 3. Hoe verskil meester se woorde met sy liggaamshouding? Now this one is a bit difficult. You also see it is for 2 marks because we have to explain the difference, die verskil. Hoe verskil meester se woorde That means what he says with his body language. Sy woorde wys dat hy in 'n goeie bui is. He says he's in a good mood. Maar sy liggaamshouding wys hy's baie kwaai. Dis vir 2 punte. 4.7. Verwys na rampie 1. Wat sê meester se woorde oor sy houding teenoor Nielsie? What does the teacher, meester's words say about his attitude towards Nielsie? Nielsie, jy's 'n klein niks werd. What does that tell us about the teacher's attitude towards Nielsie? Hy sê, Nielsie, jy's 'n klein niks werd. You are worth nothing. Die onderwyser hou nie van Nielsie nie. That is what he's telling us. Jy's 'n klein niks werd. He doesn't think much of the child. Hy dink nie baie van die kind nie. Hy hou nie baie van Nielsie nie. Now, why do you think does the teacher not like Nielsie? Anyone want to answer me? Hoekom hou meester nie van Nielsie nie? No one want to answer. Alright. Meester hou nie van Nielsie nie, want Nielsie doen nooit sy skoolwerk nie. Hy luister nie vir hom nie. Goed. Baie dankie dat julle geluister het. Ek sal hierdie op Google Classroom sit en ook op die groepie vir julle later stuur, op die WhatsApp groepie. Reg. As daar enige iemand wat 'n vraag het, dan kan julle vir my vra.